moment. We're going to take a lot of moments to just settle in here. I like to start on our back. So we're going to start lying down flat on your mat. If you're somewhere cool, maybe you want some extra layers as you begin to warm up. Place one hand on your belly and one hand on your heart. Consciously deepen your breath to the point where it is audible to you. I like to breathe in through my nose and breathe out through my mouth. You want to think about sending your breath deeper down into your body as you do this. So that's part of the reasoning behind having your hand on your stomach. Your deepest and most relaxing breath will go into your diaphragm. You want to feel your stomach expand. And then relax on your exhale. Expand on your inhale. Relax on your exhale. Let's take 3 more rounds of breath together. And you're gently going to hug your knees into your chest, crossing your arms over your legs, and you'll start to rock side to side across the width of your mat. Let your head roll back and forth gently in time with the rocking of your body. And just start to feel into the tense areas. You can change your hold on your knees. Maybe you start to make circles to let yourself better identify and focus in on those spots that need a little extra love and time and pressure. So just start to make this work for you. This would be a great time to set an intention if you'd like to for the practice. My intention today is about taking care of others and about how sometimes that has to start with taking care of ourselves. So I hate the phrase self-care, but my intention is self-care. All right, and we're gonna rock gently back and forth along the length of your spine, gradually starting to build up a little momentum until you get to the point where you can cross your legs at the ankles, roll on over them, and come into a tabletop position. So with tabletop here, shoulders over elbows over wrists, hips over knees. You want your core to be really tight. You want the muscles surrounding your spinal cord to be tight, all the muscles hugging around your vertebrae, so that you can have, maybe tight is not the best word, engaged, so that you can have the support there to hold you in that straight line. You want to have that really straight spine. And here we're going to continue our deep breathing, dropping one elbow to the mat and then rising to center, dropping the other elbow to the mat, rising to center. Exhale, drop the elbow, inhale, rise. Exhale, drop the elbow, inhale, rise, and so on. Self-care, taking care of ourselves, is really about tuning into our own body. So this is your time. You don't have to be doing exactly as I'm doing, but you want to be feeling into the parts of your body, really taking a scan, starting with your head and moving down. Notice where you're holding tension. think about places where you want to spend a little extra time today. And with that, we're going to come into our cat-cows. So our belly hangs low for cow, we look up, and then exhale to cat. Inhale to cow, exhale to cat. Tuck your tailbone on cat. Inhale, cow. Tuck your chin and tailbone, cat. Inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. Let it feel good. Don't push yourself more than your body is ready for. Exhale, cat. Inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. And gradually it can become more fluid so that you're not even really pausing in one animal shape or the other. You're flowing in between them in time to your own breath. Here with control, we're going to drop on down to our bellies. Let your head fall to one side of the mat. Just let your arms hang out on the mat. Palms face down. If you're comfortable closing your eyes, this is a great time to do that. Feel the weight of your body on the mat. Feel your connections to the earth. Feel the pull of gravity. I could just stay here, but we're going to consciously look forward. Slide your hands out in front of you and come into a gentle Sphinx pose. So this is our first back bend of the practice. We want to ease into it. We're going to gently turn our head to look over your right shoulder. Breathing. Back to center. Turn your head to look over your left shoulder. Back to center once more. Right, center, left, center. Press up just a little bit. We're not coming into a full cobra. And then let yourself come down. This time your head falls to the opposite side that it was on before. And you're just resting gently on your mat, feeling your breath going down into your belly, feeling your belly expand like a balloon, pressing into the mat and the ground beneath you, and then feel it relax on your exhale. Notice if it's different. I'm already feeling that my belly breathing is deeper than it was when I first started because I've begun to calm down and to settle and be more present here. All right, I'm going to tuck my toes. I'm going to press up and I'm going to come back into a child's pose. I'll take my knees wide, but you can keep them parallel and close together if that feels better. Spread your hands out in front of you and exhale. Tent your fingers and walk your hands like spiders over to the right side of your mat, feeling a stretch across your left side ribs. Then look up, walk your hands back to center. Walk your hands to the left side of your mat, let your head hang low. Feel that stretch across your right side ribs. And then we'll walk our hands back to center. We're going to press on up into a comfortable seated position. First, we'll take our hands, place them, fingers pointing toward the mat, on your lower back, upper bum. We'll just come into a gentle back bend, looking up towards the sky. And then bring your head level. We're going to take our hands, reverse them so the backs of our hands come to the mat. And we'll press onto the mat. As feels comfortable, you're going to ease your way backwards towards your sit bones. You're stretching out your hands and your wrists here. Sit back onto your heels. Make some circles with your wrists, going one direction and then the other. All right, feel into your body. See how everything's loosening and warming. And then we're going to tuck our toes and press up into down dog. My calves feel tight, maybe yours do too. Spread your fingers wide, really far apart with your middle finger pointing towards the front of your mat. Feel that your elbow creases are turned forward to the front of your mat as well. And you can see I'm just pedaling out my feet, introducing movement into my calves, stretching them out just a little at a time. I'm going to inhale, rise up, and exhale, press down. Inhale, rise up, exhale, press down. Inhale, rise up. Exhale this time, I'm going to bend my left knee, let my right heel go towards the mat. Keep in touch with your breathing, keep it steady. Right heel rises, right knee bends, and left heel goes toward the mat. Sometimes it looks like the goal is for your heels to be fully on the ground in down dog. Let's switch legs again. Left knee bends, right heel comes toward the mat. That's only the goal if that's what feels best for your body. And if you can do that while maintaining the integrity of your spine. You want to keep that straight, strong, supported spine. So if it takes a lot of bending for that to happen, that's fine. If you have to be up on your toes to have a straight spine, that's okay. Switch legs so you're getting a stretch into your left calf, your right knee is bent. The whole practice is about you. It's about knowing your body and responding to it, and knowing that your body yesterday is different from your body today, different from your body tomorrow, because of what you've gone through physically, but also emotionally. Look forward towards your hands. Take small steps to the front of your mat. And on an exhale, we're gonna hang, bend your knees, let your ribs come to rest on the top of your thighs. Grab opposite elbows. Let your head be really heavy here. Shake your head no, nod your head yes. Feel muscles in your neck release, and then let your arms dangle. And an inhale will come to flat back with slightly bent knees. Exhale, fold. Let's try that again. Inhale, flat back, slightly bent knees to support, keep that straight spine. I can see in the camera that I'm scooping my back a lot, and so that's something I'm consciously working on, tucking my tailbone just a little bit so that my back is straight instead of scooped. I don't want to be back bending here. Flat back, exhale, fold. This time we're going to rise all the way up. So we inhale, rise up to stand. Feel your feet gripping the mat. Feel your arches turned on. Your arms come up overhead. Look towards your hands and exhale. Fold back down. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise up to stand. Arms up overhead, hands touch. Look up, look up, look up. Let's bring them down along our sides. Mountain pose. So a quick check-in here. Your feet are hips width distance apart, toes pointing forward. Your pelvis is neutral, so your booty's not pushed out or tucked under. You want to just keep everything feeling like it's level and like the parts of your body are stacked atop one another. Feel your shoulders shrug up alongside your ears, and then exhale, set them down. Inhale, shrug them up. Exhale, set them down. Inhale, this time we shrug them up, and as you set them down, bring them slightly back. Feel your shoulder blades hugging towards one another. Okay, we're in mountain pose here. This is our optimal alignment, and we come back to this again and again and again, not necessarily vertically, but you'll see it again and again. All right, we're gonna start our sun salutations. So I'm gonna come to the front of our mats, just where we were, with slightly bent knees. We inhale, arms come up, overhead, exhale, fold forward. Inhale, flat back, exhale, fold. Let's step back together to down dog. Feel your fingertips gripping the mat as you pull forward into high plank. This time we're gonna drop our knees, coming down, low plank, press up into cobra, tuck your toes again. We'll press up and back into down dog. And that was our first Sun A. We're going to do 5 of them, so 4 more. And you can always modify them. You can always drop down to your knees, come to cobra instead of up dog, or you can just skip them all together. All right, let's get a little movement here. I'll stop talking so much. Prepare and move forward, bend your knees slightly, and then we take a big step to the front of our mat. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, fold. Inhale, we rise up to stand, arms overhead. Exhale, bow forward. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, we step back to down dog. Pull forward high to low plank. Up dog to down dog, and we breathe. We're gonna take 3 rounds of breath here. You are still moving. You're never in a place that's completely still. For this last round of breath, we look forward, we prepare to move, bend your knees slightly, step or jump to the front of your mat. Inhale, flat back, and exhale, fold. Inhale, we rise up to stand, toes grip the mat. Exhale, bow forward. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, we step back to down dog. Pulling forward high to low plank. Up dog to down dog. And we take 3 rounds of breath here. Think back to your intention. How can this practice best serve you? Look forward, bend your knees, step or jump to the front of your mat. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, fold. Inhale, we rise up to stand, arms overhead. Exhale, bow forward. Inhale, flat back. We step back, down dog. Pulling forward high to low plank. Up dog to down dog. And this time we're just going to take 2 rounds of breath before the next one. Preparing to move, bend your knees, step or jump to the front of your mat. Inhale, flat back, and exhale, fold. Inhale, we rise up to stand, toes grip the mat, look up. Exhale, bow forward. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, we step back to down dog. Pull forward, high to low plank. Up dog to down dog. We're going to take 1 round of breath here. Inhale. Exhale, prepare to move, step or jump to the front of your mat. Inhale, flat back, and exhale, fold. Inhale, we rise up to stand, arms overhead. Exhale, bow forward. Inhale, flat back. We step back to down dog. Pull forward high to low plank. Up dog to down dog. And then you're going to walk your way to the front of your mat. This time we'll inhale to a flat back. Exhale, fold. And then inhale, we're going to rise on up to Utkatasana, to chair pose. So chair pose is not a squat, right? We have our knees bent, check on our pelvis. You're thinking about it as though it's a clear bowl of water, and you don't want the water to tip forward or back. You want it to stay level. You can take your legs, you can keep your feet right next to each other or hips width distance apart. Arms come up alongside your ears, but they're not raised up. They're engaged, they're strong. I find that I can be more engaged if I cup my hands. It sort of activates all those arm muscles. All right, we're gonna stay here for 3, 2, 1. Stand up, and as we exhale, fold forward. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, fold. Together we step back to down dog. This is normally where we do sun Bs. I'm going to skip them today. in favor of doing some other things and hitting our hour-long goal for this practice. So let's do one more of our Utkatasana, and then we're just going to keep moving along, keep up this momentum. So look forward between your hands, bend your knees, step or jump, front of your mat. Inhale, flat back, and exhale, fold. Inhale, we rise up, Utkatasana. This time I want you to send your weight up to the front part of your feet, to the balls of your feet. Feel how they're moving, they're not still. Your feet are constantly moving forward, gripping the mat differently, trying to accommodate for holding the weight of your whole body in just that small space. 3, 2, 1, heels come down, we exhale, fold forward. Inhale, flat back, and exhale, fold. Let's flow through. So inhale, we rise up to stand, arms overhead. Exhale, bow forward. Inhale, flat back. Together we step back to down dog. Pull forward, high to low plank. Up dog to down dog. This time, move your left foot so it's more towards the center of your mat. Raise your right leg high, peel open that right hip. It should feel so good along your hip flexor, front of your quad. Maybe you even carry it over into a flip dog. Wherever you are, find your breath. And then as we come back, our right leg is still raised. We're going to shift our weight over onto the right side of our body, coming into a side plank on the right. You want to raise your hips up here. You can stay as you are. If you want extra support, one foot can come down to support you like that. If you want less support, you can raise your higher leg, your left leg in this point up. In this case, your left leg in this case. And then we're going to come into a high plank, optional flow through, low plank. Up dog to down dog. I'm going to reverse just so I can continue to see you. This time our left leg rises high, peel open that left hip, let it feel good. If you want to get a little deeper, you can drop this right elbow. Perhaps you carry it over into a flip dog. And if you're doing that, really feel that you're sending your pelvis upwards. As we come out of it, we'll shift our weight to the left side of our body. Right arm comes high. Again, if you need extra support, you can drop a leg. You could raise one, you could do hold a tree pose, up, almost fell down. If you're doing a tree pose on this side, just make sure that your foot is not placed on your knee. Same as in a standing tree. Hands come down to the mat. We resume our high plank, feeling that our core muscles are turned on. Exhale, low plank, inhale, up dog, exhale, down dog. All right. So from here, send your right leg high. We're going to hug that knee in towards your chest, and then we'll plant your right leg between your hands. We're in a low lunge here. Let's pause here for just a moment, feeling the strength of your legs in supporting you. Your fingertips don't even need to touch the ground necessarily. Your legs should be strong enough to hold you here. We're going to press up, rising into a crescent lunge. I'm going to bring my legs a little closer together so I can feel that I have more stability. You can also bring them wider across the width of your mat. Arms come up overhead. Look up towards them. This should be a strong pose. You can, again, cup your hands like you're holding a beach ball above your head. Your inhale pulls the crown of your head higher, like you're a marionette and you've got a string you're lifting up. The exhale lets you sit a little deeper. Then we're gonna twist to the right. When you're twisting here, it's a twist of your upper body. Your legs, hopefully, are staying as they are. They're staying stable. And if you wobble, it's okay. We're coming back into that crescent lunge, and then I want you to take your hands behind your back, and we're just gonna open up our chest skyward. Let your legs drop a little lower here. Feel that your shoulder blades are hugging together. And then we're gonna come back up. Same crescent lunge. Hands come down to frame your front right foot. We step back. You could flow through. I'm gonna come directly into down dog because that's what I need to do right now. And we'll take 3 recovery breaths here. Always a good idea to get water if you need water. All right, and we're preparing to move on the other side. So this time our left leg comes high. Hug that knee into your chest. Plant your foot between your hands. Rise up with strength and control into a crescent lunge. Your inhale lets you come up a little higher. Your exhale lets you sink down a little more deeply into that pose. I can see again in the camera, I want to pull my belly in. I'm not sucking in. It's not about how your belly looks. I'm engaging the muscles that surround and protect and support it. Now I'm going to be twisting, this time to the left. I'm going to pull my stance a little smaller because I can tell I'm going to wobble if I don't. And then consciously, I'm just bringing the top part of my body, twisting at the waist. Arms come wide. We'll come back into our crescent lunge. Our arms will find one another below our low back, opening up that chest, sending it skyward. And then with control, rising back up, returning to crescent lunge, and exhale, frame that front foot. Step back into down dog. Grip the mat with your fingertips. If you want to flow through, we pull forward. We're in high to low plank. Up dog to down dog. All right, this time your right leg comes forward and plants. We're gonna rise up and open into a warrior 2. So let me switch so that I can see you. Feeling the stability of my legs. Again, adjusting as I need to make them work for me. You need to feel strong. You need to feel that you're rooting down. The top part of your body isn't going to be able to do anything if the bottom part of your body can't confidently hold itself up on the mat. All right. From here, we're going to take a reverse warrior so that front leg stays bent. Bring it into a side angle lunge. Right elbow is on my right knee. Left arm is arched overhead. You could also take a bind here. Feeling that your chest is open towards the sky. From here, we're going to come into a half moon balance. If your left arm is bound, maybe you see if you can leave it there. So to come into half moon, we're going to be sending our weight forward and your hand will come down. Ready? So I shift my weight forward, letting my back leg become light and raise high. The goal is that I'm keeping an open chest and open hips. So I have kept my hand bound. If you are not doing that, this arm rises up and it's just this really wonderful, I'm wobbling so much, but it's this really wonderful opening feeling. You can always, here we go, fall out of it, come back in. You can always challenge your balance by, I can't do it, I'm not balancing well today. Maybe on the other side. I'm gonna bring my body back down to the mat. And it seems like I'm coming into that favorite crescent lunge again. So let me rest here for a moment, looking up, feeling stable, feeling strong. And then my hands will come down, frame my front foot. I'm in high plank, maybe I flow through or maybe I skip it. It's your call, it's whatever works for you. So from here, my left foot is going to come forward and plant between my hands. I'm gonna rise up, open into a warrior two. On the left side. And I like to take a moment to really settle here. I think of warrior two as a place of strength and ease at the same time. I'm feeling my shoulder blades are coming towards one another across my back. My arms are out wide, looking over the middle finger of my left hand. Left toes are pointed towards the front of the mat. Right toes go off to the side. We'll take a reverse warrior, looking up towards that left hand. Coming into a side angle lunge. Right arm arches overhead. Send it around your back. If you'd like to take a bind, you only want to do that if it feels comfortable and if it can, you can still maintain a really open chest, collarbone area. All right, getting ready to come into that half moon balance. If you have a block, which I do, that might be helpful for this. So I'm gonna try to do it with a bind again, but we'll see. We're leaning forward, you're bending deeply into that front leg before letting your back leg rise high. Definitely helpful with the block. You can also try taking this up against a wall. Even the visual of having a wall behind me, like even envisioning it is helping me to maintain better alignment. I want to bend, I want to keep like a micro bend in that front leg to better help me balance too. All right, I'm going to shift down, coming back into my crescent lunge, coming back down to the mat, framing my front foot, stepping back into down dog. We'll take a few recovery breaths here. Notice how much this pose may have changed for you since the start of practice. It's become so much more comfortable and so much more of a pose of strength and ease for me than it first was. I'm gonna walk my way up to standing. Actually, before I stand, why don't I hang and ragdoll for a moment. Taking opposite elbows, you could gently swing side to side. Feeling a loosening in your lower back. Inhale to a flat back, and exhale, fold. Let's rise up to stand, arms come up and overhead, and then they meet in prayer. I want to try something, and there's not a super graceful way of doing it. So we'll just go into it. We're gonna come into eagle pose. For eagle, your left foot will root down, right leg raises, wraps around, maybe tucks behind your left leg. Right arm comes under left. We can stay here. We can sit a little more deeply. Last time we practiced folding over. I'd like to try to take eagle into a modified version of bird pose. So I'm going to start to lean forward, and this time I'm actually going to unwind my back leg. I'm keeping those eagle arms, but sending my back leg out straight. And I'm adjusting the whole time as I go, keeping a micro bend in my standing left leg. And I want to see if I can rise up, return to eagle. Stay here for a moment. It's not about, and unwind. It's not about just checking it off the list. It's not about like, hit that pose, I hit that pose, I hit that pose. It's about like, can I come back to this pose and feel that I'm in it in strength and that I'm in control. So I'm gonna just work everything out again. And then we're gonna come into the same thing on the left side. So I'm gonna bring my left leg up, cross it over, maybe I tuck it behind the right leg. Left arm comes under right, opposite wrap, if I said that wrong, opposite from last time. You can stay here in eagle, or you can work on your transition. So arms, arms are steady, left leg comes out, and with control, you send it behind you, trying, I can't look in the camera because I'm definitely gonna fall, but trying to keep that straight line from the crown of your head to your heel, keeping a slight bend in your standing leg, and then with control, coming out of it, giving value to the transitions between the poses as much, if not more, than the poses themselves. Once I am back in eagle and I feel strong and stable, then I'll start to unwind. Okay, awesome. Let's come into a dancer's pose here. So, shake everything out. You might want to sort of backstroke with your arms for a moment. You're gonna send your right hand out as though you're shaking hands, flip it upside down, finger wags towards the ground. I'm gonna get my left foot well rooted down on the ground beneath me. This right hand comes back, it takes the inner arch of my right foot, and I'm going to be bringing this up, and again, this is that pendulum motion. I'm shifting forwards at the same time that I'm sending my right foot out and back. I want to feel the opposing motion of my right leg pushing and my right hand holding that foot in place. I want to feel that I'm strong in my core. I'm going to come on out of it, but not put my foot down yet. I'm first going to hug it up into my chest, and then I'll set it down. Same thing on the left side. So your left hand extends, like you're shaking hands with the wrong hand. Flip it upside down. Hold on to your inner arch. Right hand comes out, bend deeply, not deeply, get a little bend in that standing leg. With control, you find something stable to look at. Extend forward. Close your eyes if you'd like to challenge your balance. I don't think I can. And with control, come on out of it, hugging that knee into your chest and setting it down. Let's bring our arms up and overhead, inhaling, exhaling, send them down for some sun breaths. Inhale, they come up, exhale, down. Inhale, up, exhale, send them down. All right, face the front of your mat, if you're not already. Inhale, arms come up, sweep up overhead, exhale, send them down. We're gonna walk back into a downward dog. This time you'll send your right leg high, hug it into your chest. You're gonna plant it between your hands. Together we rise up and open into a warrior two. You're gonna straighten that front leg, shift forward, and then we're coming into a triangle pose. my bottom hand is just barely skimming the ground. You could let it rest on your leg, just not on your knee, or you could challenge yourself by trying to hold it up and off the ground so that you're holding yourself up a lot using the strength of your core. Look up towards that outstretched hand. And then we're gonna look down towards our standing foot. Bring both hands alongside it. Shift that left foot so it's facing forward. Bring that leg much closer. We're coming into pyramid pose here, so we want to have our legs in that pyramid shape. You can bring your hands to your hips, keeping your spine and core strong, folding forward. You should feel this along the back side of your front leg, in this case the right leg. It's not a super deep pose. It doesn't have to be really intense. You can keep a slight bend here. This time in the practice, we're starting to slow down. Let your head be heavy. It doesn't have to do any work here. Bring in calmness on your inhales. Release tension on your exhales. Now we're going to come into a lunge. So you're going to send that left back leg further behind you. Right leg stays bent. We're going to come into a lizard lunge. So both hands come inside. Let me face you. Both hands are going to come inside your right leg here. And you can stay here if that feels good. Or you can start to open up that right leg almost as though you're opening up the cover of a book, sending it outwards. You want it to feel totally fine on your knee. This should not be tweaking anything in your knee. You should feel it in and around your hip. You can even gently press to send it out a little more, only if that's comfortable. And if that feels good, you can start sinking down towards the mat. If your mind starts to wander during these longer, slower poses, you can even just count your breaths. 1 on the inhale, 2 on the exhale. If something starts to come into your mind, you can practice noting where you just give it a label. So you either say thinking or feeling, depending on what the thought is that comes into your mind, and it helps you to acknowledge it, give it its time, and then move beyond it. All right, let's come on out of this. So you're gonna tuck your back toes if they're not already tucked. We're coming back up into a downward facing dog. And then if you want, you might want to peel open that hip again, like we did earlier, before you set that back leg down. All right, nice job. So from here, left foot comes high, hug that knee into your chest, plant it between your hands. We're rising up and opening into a warrior 2. And I think I am going to be facing away from you because I think it's helpful to see the poses from the back too, even though it feels a little weird for me. But we're going to come into a triangle here. Straighten that front left leg, shift your weight forward, left arm comes down, maybe it lands on your ankle or your shin, maybe it comes to the floor or a block. Right arm comes up, and you look towards that upraised right hand. You could also take a bind here if you'd like, bringing your arm around your back. There are several binds you could take here. And we'll look down towards that left foot. We're going to set up for pyramid pose. So bringing both sets of toes, it's not really a set, bringing all your toes to point to the front of the mat, making a triangular shape with your legs, holding on to your hips, feeling the points of your hips facing forward. And then when you're ready, and that really is so much about it too, you want to feel like you're ready, like, okay, I'm grounded here, now I can move. Shift forward and down. You can keep a slight bend in that front knee to let yourself get a little further into the stretch if that feels good. As with so many other stretches or poses, your inhale can let you come forward a little, and your exhale lets you settle more deeply into it. Let's do 2 more rounds of breath here. Then we'll transition into our lizard lunge. So we're going to be shifting forward and then sending your right leg back behind you. So we're in a really low lunge here. If that feels good, you can stay. I also love doing just like a traditional lunge. That feels great on my right hip flexor. So that's an option too. It's your practice. But to come into lizard lunge again, both hands come inside your left foot. Scooch that foot outwards a little bit so you have the space for your hands to properly hold your torso up. And then maybe you start to peel open that left leg, like you're opening the pages of a book. And if you're doing that, your weight is balanced on the outer edge of that left foot. But it's not a lot of weight. That shouldn't really be doing work. It's just sort of a redistribution. Stay here, or start to send yourself lower toward the mat. Again, there's not a goal. There's not a certain pose or a certain depth in that pose that you're trying to reach. It's just what feels good to you. And there are so many different small nuanced stretches that can come out of any pose. Like, you're not just getting a single stretch, it's working so many parts of your body. So it's also about, like, what are you choosing to prioritize today? Two more rounds of breath here. Remember, counting your breath, noting your thoughts as either thinking or feeling if your mind starts to wander. And then what we're going to do is we're going to shift our weight towards the right side of our body, and we're going to come into a seated position, and we're going to stay here. We're done being upright for this practice. So we're going to take Baddha Konasana. You're going to have let the soles of your feet touch, but don't force them to be perfectly lined up. The top parts of them will probably naturally fall open a little. You can move the flesh away from your sit bones. Feel that your spine is strong. I don't really know if that's the right way of saying that, but you know what I mean. And we'll start to shift our weight forward and down, and you can use your elbows to press your knees closer toward the ground. The closer your heels are towards your pelvis, the deeper that stretch is going to feel in your groin. So if you want to extend them more away from you, it'll be less of a deep stretch. Again, it's not about folding yourself forward to appear that you're as low as you can be. It's about maintaining the integrity of your spine, sending yourself forward and down while you're doing that. So I'm keeping a strong, long, straight spine here. And this part of the practice is a great time to keep your eyes closed. Just really come back into yourself. On your exhales, if you have the space, gradually move down toward your feet, coming deeper into the stretch. And then with control, we're going to come out of it, but it's not a snap. It's a slow release and a resettling. Okay, we'll extend our legs out in front of us. Gonna cross the right leg over the left. You can stay here and twist from here, or you can tuck that right heel closer to your body. And then we'll twist, looking over your right shoulder. Hugging that right knee in. Keep it hugged in so you feel a stretch in your right hip. And then we're going to take a counter twist, hugging this knee in using the right arm, looking over your left shoulder. And coming back to center. And we'll switch again. I always need to unwind the whole way. You could shake out your legs a little. Left knee comes in, crosses over, hug it into your chest. Right heel tucks into your hip. Left arm comes high, plant it behind you, twisting to the left. Let your gaze go out over your left shoulder, and hopefully this feels good. Hopefully all of it feels good. There should not be any pain. There can be sensation, maybe like slight discomfort as long as it feels safe, but nothing beyond that. We're not going to gain anything by injuring ourselves. Twist in the opposite direction. This one is not as deep of a twist. It should not feel as deep. And we're going to unwind, come on down to lay on our backs. If you, like me, are going to get a little cold as your body starts to cool off, you can add extra layers here. If not, kudos. That must be great. Okay, so we're laying down on your back, and if you're already there, you could place your hands on your belly and then just start to settle, right? Thinking about the way that we began, feeling the shift of your body as you go from one position to the next, and also as you're releasing yourself, like you're really releasing yourself here from the hard work you've been doing. Okay, we're gonna come into a figure 4 pose. Right leg comes up, crosses over left. You're gonna send your hands through, your right arm comes through that opening you've created. You can take a hold of your left shin or your left thigh and just pull that whole structure in towards your torso. Take one more round of breath here, and then slowly release. And you could stay, I know I could stay here for so much longer. I'm just pushing it on time, so I'm trying to keep us moving along. But if you have the time, stay. So we're switching onto the left. Your left leg crosses over right. Your hands come through, take a hold of your right shin. You can use your elbow here to press that left leg out and away from you, and I acknowledge that it's not helpful that I'm wearing all black and lying on a black yoga mat, so I'm sorry. One more round of breath. See if you can hug that structure closer to your chest if you have the space, if it feels good. And then with control, we're gonna release. We're gonna roll on over to our bellies. We're gonna come into a locust pose here. So for locust pose, your hands are gonna clasp behind your back. Let me scooch forward. Your hands will clasp behind your back. And on an inhale, you're gonna press upwards. Your hands rise. Your feet can come up, but they don't have to. Looking ahead of you, you will rock back and forth slightly on your inhale and exhale. Let's take one more inhale. Exhale, come on down. Let your head fall to the right side of the mat. One more resting round of breath here. And then prepare for locust again. When you're ready, we're pressing up, sort of like a Superman pose if you're familiar with that, but your hands are coming behind you. They're spreading across they're spreading open your collarbone, your upper chest. One more round of breath and come down. So following this, of course I'm getting warm now. If that feels great, and you feel open enough, you can come into a wheel. If you don't, then don't do it. Wheel, maybe watch it if you're unsure. It's not my best look. Wheel is going to be like an expanded version of locust. So you're gonna hold on to your feet, and as you rise up, usually, I'm not moving at all, there's usually a more intense rocking action that happens. And you stay there until it's time to release. And when you come down, maybe you windshield wiper your legs from one side to the other. And then slowly, we're gonna roll over onto our backs. We're gonna take knob knee pose, so let your knees fall in together. Your feet go mat width distance apart. You should feel a release in your lower back. See if you can tuck your shoulder blades beneath you a little bit more. The eyes can be closed. I'm going to take this into a windshield wipering motion. So your legs first fall to the right and then to the left. And they're going to go back and forth a couple times at your own pace until they eventually settle on the right. And when they do that, you'll send your arms out wide. Your gaze comes over to the right, your gaze comes to the left. So this is a supine twist. You can close your eyes here. Check in with your right quad, your iliotibial band, everything that's touching the mat, that's surrounding that right hip. See if you're holding tension there, because you don't have to be. See if you can let that release. See if you're holding tension in your forehead, in your cheeks, in your jaw. On an exhale, let it go. Again, you can really stay here for a very long time, but for our purposes, we're going to come back to center. Make sure your body is in alignment here, so your pelvis should be resting, in the center of your mat if you're considering it widthwise. Then we'll scooch that pelvis a little to the right. Let your hips fall to the left this time. Your gaze will go to the right. Arms are spread wide or in cactus arms. See if you can do any releasing on your left leg, surrounding your hips. And then slowly we're going to come on back to center. We're gonna come into a happy baby. So you'll hug your knees into your chest. Remember, that's how we started this practice. Then you can either hold below your knees, or you could take the outer edges of your feet. You can just gently rock side to side, just like we started. Roll your head back and forth. Let it feel good. Feel grateful for however far you've come since the start of practice. And when you're ready, you're going to come into your resting pose. Maybe you engage in a full body stretch before you fully settle. And then your traditional Shavasana pose is going to have your legs extended, your arms alongside you, palms facing upward, your eyes closed. I'm going to be meditating during this time so that you're not just seeing me lying down, and so I don't just fall asleep. But you should remain on your back, and this is a time to let go. Stop trying to control the pace and the depth of your breathing. If your mind wanders, you could practice noting again and just say thinking or feeling and try to gently bring it back. Or you can just let it go, give it a break too. But you've done the hard work of getting to this point in your practice. So this is an equally important time where you're just letting that effort soak in. I'm gonna stay here for about 3 minutes, and then I'll pull you out, gently pull you out of your Shavasana. If you prefer to stay longer, just shut off the video now and do so. Thank you for being here, and I will cue you when it's time to come out. Until then, enjoy your Shavasana. You're going to gently start to bring your awareness back into your body, into the space that you're in. Start to wiggle your fingers and toes, introducing very small movements. Gradually, you can let those movements get bigger. Maybe bringing your arms up and overhead for a stretch. Pointing your toes and then flexing, and then pointing and flexing them again. And when you feel ready, You're going to really gently roll yourself over onto your right side with eyes still closed. Let yourself stay there for a moment. In child's pose, just let yourself be held there by the ground. Feel the pull of gravity on your body. And when you're ready with control, you'll bring yourself up. Press yourself into a seated position. Eyes can still be closed. Hands fall open, palms facing the sky, one on either knee. Together we'll inhale through our noses. Exhale through your mouth. Inhale through your nose. Exhale through your mouth. On this last inhale, bring your hands together. Bring your thumbs up to your forehead. And as you exhale, we bow forward, saying namaste.